have quite a few Gypsy Rose updates we need to get into in this video, and I do want to talk about the last episode of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. So, Gypsy Rose has made her mother's house that she took her life in pretty much a landmark. All these different people have been showing up. Some people have been trying to hunt for ghosts in the front yard, trying to find Dee Dee's long lost ghost, and other people have been driving by and getting videos. This one girl posted a video on TikTok and YouTube talking about how there's no trespassing signs, and they kept driving past it. They drove past the house at least 4 different times, and the 4th or 5th time when they were driving by, finally the people who were living there came out and they're like, oh my gosh, they caught us. Gypsy hasn't been filming these type of videos, and she commented under this specific TikTok video and said, y'all have no respect or decency. A tragedy happened in that house, yet y'all visit it as if it was the Grand Canyon. I mean, she's the one that made it to where it's a landmark where this crime happened and made people interested in it. But I mean, I can understand. I'm sure it triggers her to see all these videos of her old house, and I'm sure it just brings back old memories and stuff that she doesn't want to have to relive again. And now I want to talk about the baby registry. And I talked about this in my last video, how she announced she was pregnant, and then she posted on her Instagram stories a baby registry, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. When people typically announce they're pregnant, they put out their baby registries so loved ones can get them what they want. But the thing was, she got this baby registry, and the stuff she had on there, she had some bougie stuff on there. She had 3 different strollers, 3 different beds, which I don't know why she needs that many strollers or beds, and one stroller and car seat travel assistant was $1,000. Another one was like $700. After Gypsy posted her registry, literally within an hour, it was showing that everything on her registry had been purchased. This came to a shock to a lot of people, and I thought either a lot of people just wanted to either show her love, or I kind of toyed around in my last video with the idea that possibly trolls were purchasing things and putting it in their cart to take it off the registry so nobody else could buy it. And that's been a known thing for Amazon baby registries and wish lists in the past. There's a few people, like I know Heather from Love After Lockup and Aaron Carter, they both made registries with Amazon, and trolls did the same exact thing. Trolls will hurry up and put things in their cart as quickly as possible to prevent people who actually want to make purchases for that person from getting anything. So Gypsy actually commented under a TikTok video where this TikTok creator was talking about how Gypsy and Ken had started this registry and it was all sold out. Gypsy said, no, that's not actually what happened. She said people came and put things in their cart and they did not purchase them. And she said nobody actually purchase one single thing off the registry, but she said trolls would just add things to their cart so they could send a note to her, and they were sending all these mean, hateful things. And when Gypsy and Ken found this out, they were very upset, so they were able to get a hold of the company baby list and reached out to them, and they were also concerned because, as I pointed out in my last video, after Gypsy made her registry, there's at least 20-30 other people who made registries under Gypsy and Ken's name, but they would just set it up for their address, trying to get free gifts out of the situation. And that's another concern that Gypsy and Ken brought up, and this is the email that they got back. Hi Gypsy Rose and Ken, first and foremost, congratulations on your growing family. We wanted to apologize for any issues that you might have had after sharing your baby list registry, and please know that your privacy is important to baby list, and our team has taken swift action. In addition to making your registry private, we've removed any fraudulent impersonations from our site and any fake gift reservations from your registry. Knowing that going forward, we would also like to offer you a $500 baby list gift card to spend however you like. I'm sure they were loving all the free press they were getting from Gypsy, and they did not want her to leave and set up a registry somewhere else, because that's going to be a lot of sales that they miss out on. So they were able to get everything fixed, and Gypsy was able to make her baby registry private to where only people that are close to her will have the password to get into the registry. Since Gypsy announced that she was pregnant, a lot of people have been eagerly anticipating Ryan to come out and speak and share his feelings, because the last time he kind of spoke on her possibly being pregnant, someone had asked him on a live. He seemed really heartbroken at the thought that she could be pregnant, but he assured everyone that she wasn't. Well, according to TMZ, a family source spoke to them and claimed that Gypsy actually told Ryan a few weeks ago, before he made that video claiming he didn't know she was pregnant. I think he was just probably protecting her. You know, he didn't want to be the first one to announce it. He was at least respecting that. And apparently he was very upset about it, and he was hoping they could reconcile. But Gypsy said she's perfectly happy with Ken, doesn't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. But Ryan has known for a few weeks, and I guess that probably explains why he didn't have a knee-jerk reaction to immediately start making videos or going live like he's done with a few things in the past. And maybe Gypsy told him, like, look, please don't come out and go live talking about this. I already know that she has been begging him to stop bringing her up in his lives, but I mean, she brings him up all the time too. And right now they have a freaking show that's airing. With the show being on right now, people are going to want to know the tea, especially after watching it every single week. And when Gypsy goes live, it's not like she has a lot to talk about anyways, and she's always asking people, what do you guys want to know? And people typically want to know the tea. So now let's go ahead and talk about this last episode of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. Ken decided that it was finally his turn to speak. So he was able to talk to Gypsy's stepmom. She was able to convince the Lifetime producers to fly out to Texas and sit down with Ken. And Ken is pretty much just acting like, you know, I had to let Gypsy go because she was so codependent. She wasn't focusing on anything else but me. And I had people in my ear that were telling me that I was holding her back. So I decided to let her be free. But he's realizing now, when you have a codependent person and you lead them, they're just going to find the next person to be codependent on. I still don't know how I feel about that excuse, because if that was the case, then why wouldn't have you just told her when you broke up with her years ago? Why did you have to keep this a big secret and wait till she's filming the show to finally come out and say that? I don't know, like, because after he broke up, it was coming out that he was claiming that he couldn't deal with the media because people were reaching out to his family, to his job, and that's understandable. And I feel like he just doesn't want to admit that, because he doesn't want Gypsy to be like, well, if you couldn't handle it then how are you going to handle it now? But I will give him credit, because he has been handling things pretty well, because being with somebody in the spotlight like Gypsy's been recently, being with someone like that is not for everyone, and you have to have thick skin. And the trolls and what people be saying to him on live and on social media, all I gotta say is he definitely knows how to roll with the punches. I will give him that. Plus, at the time he left her, she still had years hanging over her head, and I think he probably just got tired of waiting around and wanted to date people outside of prison that he could actually be with. Which that's completely understandable. Being with an inmate is a lot more complicated than being with someone in the free world. And as soon as she was in the free world, he came and tried to snatch her back up. And we see Gypsy And Ryan and Gypsy's over at the apartment, and Ryan goes out to take the dog for a walk. And when he's walking back inside, Gypsy's on the porch and she's on the phone with her sister. She's like, "Hey sis, did you see the video I sent you last night?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "Well, I sent you a video of me and Ryan fighting because he found out I told you that he got off inside me and he wasn't happy, and I want to hear your thoughts." And she's like, "Okay, I'll watch the video, I'll get back with you." And then Ryan comes inside the door and he's like, "Who are you on the phone with?" And I don't know why he has to ask her that every time she's texting or calling somebody. Every single time he's ever asked her that in the past, she's always talking to a family member. Does she really have to tell you every single time she calls or texts with one of her family members? Like, I could not do that. It just feels like he's constantly micromanaging every little thing she does. The girl probably can't even go in the bathroom and wipe her ass without Ryan asking her what she's doing. It is too much. Then we get to catch up with Gypsy's stepmom and her father, Christy and Rod. And they're sitting down, and Gypsy's dad is pretty much explaining, like, "Look, I don't know really how to say this, but I really want to spend more time with Gypsy. I feel like I'm kind of jealous and fighting for her attention between the media and with Ryan. And the family kind of feels some type of way because they've been waiting 8+ years for Gypsy to get out, and Ryan's only been waiting a few, and he's pretty much been hogging her the whole time since she's been out of prison." Gypsy's stepmom was like, "Hey, you just need to tell Gypsy that you want to hang out with her." He's like, "Look, I don't want to seem controlling." She's like, "There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's fine to want attention and time with your daughter, especially after all this time you missed out while she was in prison and during her younger years." And so they decide that they're going to set up a day for Rod and Gypsy to have one-on-one time. Then we see Gypsy go out to eat with her stepmom, Christy. And while they're eating, Gypsy told her stepmom that she loved Ken and she was thinking about him nonstop. And she revealed while Ryan was sleeping and he had to wake up and go to work the next morning, she decided to wake him up in the middle of the night before Valentine's Day, and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I just wanted to let you know I miss Ken." And I'm sure it was hard for him to get back to sleep after that. He probably thought he was having a nightmare for a second. There's a time and place for everything, and I feel like that was not a good time, especially not in the middle of the night before he has to go to work the next morning. And then Gypsy revealed to her stepmom that she did call Ken 2 weeks before she got out of prison, and she was pretty much asking him, like, "What do you think about me getting married?" And he said that he wished he would wait, but he wanted her to do whatever made her happy. And Gypsy said that she was kind of asking him that because she was hoping he would say, "Oh no, I don't want you getting married. I want you to wait for me." And she said if he would have said that, she would have told Ryan she wasn't going to get married, and she probably would have went straight back to Ken right then and there. Then Gypsy went and got a nose job consultation. She went ahead and scheduled an upcoming nose job. Then she decided she wanted to go to the dentist, get her teeth fixed. Then she went and got her hair done, and she decided to get her hair done super blonde, which I thought was interesting because she said Ken loves blondes, and it seems like she's trying to become Ken's, like, fantasy, everything that Ken wants to try to maybe attract him. And Ryan's kind of scared because he's like, "Oh my gosh, she might change how she looks and then want to level up and think she's too good for me." Ryan was looking at her like she was a freaking cupcake he was about to eat all up. He was loving how she was looking, every bit of it, and he could not stop letting her know how great she looked. And then she's like, yeah, well, I need to go hang out with my dad and have some one-on-one time with him for the weekend. And Ryan was kind of feeling some type of way that he wasn't invited. But I mean, every single time she usually goes with her family outside that time she went to the nail salon, he's always tagging along. He should be able to let her have some one-on-one time with just her family. He is definitely exhibiting a lot of codependent behaviors. And when Gypsy goes and hangs out with her dad, they go out on this boat and she's helping him fish and she's learning how to fish and drive a boat. They're having a great time. Then they go back to Gypsy's dad's house and he's trying to make up for the things that he didn't get to teach her as a kid. He's trying to teach her how to play guitar, how to cook, how to do this. And she's only been with her dad not even a day. She's supposed to spend the whole weekend with him. And Ryan is already texting her saying, I'm going to be honest about something. I could really give a F about your dad's one-on-one time with you right now. I want to love on my wife. Ha ha. And she said, baby, don't be selfish. And I don't know if he's just joking or what, but that is extremely selfish of him, that he is constantly just thinking about what's best for himself instead of just thinking about what's best for her too. That really pissed me off when I saw him say that. That is just so incredibly selfish, like Gypsy said. And her dad is just trying to make up for lost time, and he's robbing her from having that father-daughter experience because he won't even let her spend a freaking day with her dad without him somehow having to make it about him and have her attention. Like, I'm sure he was blowing her up the whole time she was on the boat too, and as soon as she got back to her family's house, he was demanding her to video call him, and she's like, dude, I don't want a video call right now. He's like, oh yeah, you must have your boyfriend there. And I mean, I get what she's saying about the constant condescending remarks. Like, I do get it's part of his sense of humor. That's how he tries to be funny. But at the same time, when you just say it again and again, it gets annoying as hell. I think Ryan just tries to laugh about it to hide the pain, but I can see that this is just getting under Gypsy's skin, and she went and spent that time with her family without Ryan, and she's starting to realize how life could be without Ryan, and she's starting to feel like that could possibly be a better option for her than being with Ryan. I think that's another thing Ryan was scared of, that if she spent enough time away from him, she'd be like, you know what, I really do not need Ryan and to put up with his BS. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.